In Vedic astrology, the Atmakaraka, or soul indicator, is one of the most significant planets in a person's birth chart, representing the soul's deepest desires and karmic journey in this lifetime. The Atmakaraka sheds light on the core motivations, lessons, and spiritual evolution that each individual is meant to experience. While each planet has its role in shaping our life's narrative, the Atmakaraka is unique because it serves as the guiding force for the soul, symbolizing the areas of life where we are likely to face challenges, find purpose, and evolve. The Atmakaraka can be any of the planets from the Sun to Saturn, excluding the nodes Rahu and Ketu in most systems, and is determined as the planet with the highest degrees in a person's natal chart. When placed in different houses, it brings its unique influence to the realms of life represented by those houses, highlighting areas of life where we feel a sense of duty, purpose, or even struggle. By examining the Atmakaraka's placement, we gain insight into the soul's blueprint for growth and fulfillment. Each house the Atmakaraka occupies signals a distinct set of experiences and lessons that can reveal both the strengths we are encouraged to cultivate and the weaknesses we must confront and transcend. In Vedic philosophy, the concept of karma is paramount, and the Atmakaraka plays a vital role in navigating these spiritual principles. The Atmakaraka acts as a beacon, leading the individual towards self-realization and a higher purpose, often through the trials and tribulations associated with the house it occupies. Its influence is akin to that of a spiritual teacher, encouraging one to address unresolved karmic debts, foster essential virtues, and achieve greater alignment with the soul's goals. For instance, an Atmakaraka placed in the first house may emphasize personal identity and self-expression, while one in the seventh house could place focus on relationships and partnerships. The placement of the Atmakaraka not only influences the external circumstances one might encounter, but also guides the person's internal journey. It is often through repeated challenges, deep introspection, or a sense of longing that one comes to understand the soul's purpose in a particular area of life. The Atmakaraka's presence in a house also impacts one's relationships with the themes and people associated with that house. It creates a magnetic pull towards specific roles, responsibilities, and life events that serve to teach, heal, and evolve the soul. Each house placement of the Atmakaraka holds a set of karmic responsibilities. The challenges associated with the Atmakaraka placement often reflect areas where the soul must overcome specific hurdles to experience growth. These challenges may manifest in the form of internal struggles, recurring patterns, or responsibilities that seem unyielding yet carry essential lessons. The Atmakaraka teaches the importance of persistence and resilience, urging the individual to rise above difficulties and align with the deeper wisdom inherent within each experience. The nature of the Atmakaraka planet brings additional layers to this analysis. Each planet has its own qualities and temperament, which influence how the soul's purpose is pursued. If the Sun is the Atmakaraka, the individual may be drawn toward leadership, honor, and a sense of personal authority. When Saturn becomes the Atmakaraka, it may bring a sense of duty, endurance, and discipline, often involving delayed gratification or working through limitations to achieve mastery and wisdom. The dignity or strength of the Atmakaraka planet in the chart also plays a critical role. A well-placed Atmakaraka in a strong sign or house placement empowers the individual to fulfill their soul's desires with greater ease, resilience, and positive results. Conversely, a debilitated or weakened Atmakaraka may signify obstacles, misunderstandings, or delays in reaching the soul's objectives, requiring extra patience and introspection. The Atmakaraka serves as a gateway to transformation, illuminating areas where personal growth and spiritual evolution can unfold. The house occupied by the Atmakaraka becomes a focal point for development, compelling the individual to explore that area of life profoundly, often leading to significant self-discovery or even personal awakening. This path of transformation is rarely easy. The Atmakaraka is often linked to challenging, recurring themes that push one beyond their comfort zone, nurturing a journey of self-mastery and resilience. The aspects to the Atmakaraka and its interactions with other planets or house lords in the chart further refine its influence and how its lessons are absorbed. Benefic aspects may encourage the Atmakaraka's purpose, providing support and ease in reaching its objectives. Malefic aspects or conjunctions, however, may intensify challenges but can also deepen the strength and wisdom that emerge from successfully facing these experiences. With this context in mind, let's explore the significance of having the Atmakaraka placed in each of the 12 houses. When the Atmakaraka, or the soul planet, is in the first house of a person's horoscope, it sets the tone for a life deeply oriented towards self-discovery, personal responsibility, and independence. The first house represents identity, physical self, and one's overall approach to life, and having the Atmakaraka here suggests that the individual's soul mission revolves around understanding, nurturing, and developing their sense of self in a meaningful and profound way. This placement signifies a karmic journey focused on self-realization, and this quest permeates every aspect of life, from career and relationships to health and spirituality. This placement implies that, in past lives, these individuals may have sacrificed personal needs for the benefit of others, perhaps in roles that prioritize service or selflessness. As a result, in this lifetime, they carry a karmic responsibility to focus on themselves. They are tasked with nurturing their own goals, beliefs, and desires before extending their energies to others. This focus on self may initially appear selfish, but it is an essential process for these individuals to honor their own needs and develop self-worth. There is a karmic lesson here. They must recognize the importance of self-care and personal boundaries in order to avoid burnout or dissatisfaction, which can arise when too much energy is given to others without consideration of their own needs. In practical terms, people with Atmakaraka in the first house are often driven to make their own decisions and create their unique life path. They typically resist external control, finding it challenging to follow directions from others if they feel that it compromises their individuality. This is a placement of autonomy, where they may face tests that push them to assert their independence and think for themselves. This can sometimes lead to conflicts in relationships, particularly if they feel constrained or pressured to conform to others' expectations. However, these challenges are part of their soul's growth, encouraging them to cultivate a strong sense of self-reliance and authenticity. The focus on independence can sometimes bring about a degree of fame or notoriety, as these individuals often leave a strong impression on others. They have a desire to be known or respected, whether for their accomplishments, character, or values. This fame is not necessarily sought for superficial reasons. Rather, it often results from their pursuit of personal truth and commitment to living by their principles. They may be seen as people of integrity, setting an example for others through their commitment to authenticity. This placement meaning they are meant to live by moral standards, acting as role models in various facets of life, whether in friendships, family roles, or professional settings. The karmic influence of the Atmakaraka in the first house also emphasizes self-discipline and responsibility. These individuals are encouraged to cultivate self-respect by living in alignment with their values. There is a subtle but powerful expectation that they uphold a certain level of integrity and character, which, in turn, commands respect from others. Instead of seeking validation or admiration from others, their journey requires them to embody virtues that naturally earn them respect. This approach instills a sense of dignity, as their path involves building an honorable legacy based on their actions and choices. Interestingly, the influence of the specific Atmakaraka planet can further refine these lessons. If Mercury is the Atmakaraka, for example, the individual's soul growth may involve honing communication skills and intellectual pursuits. This placement would push them to learn and share knowledge, often driving them to refine how they express themselves and engage with the world intellectually. If Mars occupies this position, they may need to work on assertiveness and physical vitality, building strength in character and body to face life's challenges with courage. For those with Saturn as the Atmakaraka in the first house, there is often a karmic call for responsibility, patience, and the diligent pursuit of long-term goals. Saturn's influence here would emphasize resilience and a commitment to personal improvement, regardless of obstacles. However, this journey of self-focus has its complexities. These individuals are likely to encounter moments where they feel torn between self-interest and societal or relational expectations. They may want life to be tailored to their needs, desires, and preferences, which can occasionally be challenging in areas like marriage or partnerships, where compromise is essential. To achieve a balanced, fulfilling life, they need to ensure that their personal growth does not become a source of isolation or inflexibility. Developing a cooperative spirit, while still honoring their individual needs, can mitigate potential strains in relationships. Another key lesson for Atmakaraka in the first house is that success and fulfillment will often require a high degree of personal integrity. This placement challenges them to elevate their thoughts and actions, prompting them to continually ask how they can become better individuals, not just for their own benefit but to inspire and uplift those around them. In fact, by focusing on personal development, they naturally cultivate qualities that benefit society, such as empathy, understanding, and self-assurance. Their journey is not just about achieving external goals, it's a deeply spiritual path, calling them to bridge their soul's desires with their material existence. This placement encourages introspection and alignment of their inner values with their outer actions, leading to a more integrated, balanced sense of self. The soul's mission here is to transcend previous patterns of self-neglect by embracing a path of self-love, personal empowerment, and spiritual growth. They are here to live by example, proving that by honoring oneself, one can also contribute meaningfully to the world around them. Overall, Atmakaraka in the first house signifies a soul-driven need to understand oneself at a profound level, independent of societal pressures or others' expectations. Through discipline, self-reflection, and a dedication to personal truth, individuals with this placement have the potential to leave a lasting, positive impact, not through force or control, but by embodying the very principles they hold dear. Their legacy will likely be one of integrity, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to self-actualization. When the Atmakaraka is placed in the second house of the natal chart, it signifies a karmic focus on values, family, wealth, and communication. This placement carries deep implications for the individual's life path, as it requires them to develop a sound understanding of what constitutes true value, both materially and spiritually. While the second house traditionally governs personal resources, possessions, and voice, the presence of the Atmakaraka intensifies these themes, urging the soul to reevaluate early beliefs, childhood influences, and inherited values. In this life, individuals with their Atmakaraka in the second house will frequently confront lessons about wealth, familial duties, and the principles surrounding how they earn and manage resources. These lessons often span from personal financial management to conscientious ways of supporting those around them, emphasizing an overarching theme of responsibility. The second house is closely tied to early familial experiences, shaping how these individuals approach relationships, security, and self-worth. Souls with their Atmakaraka in the second house may find that their childhood played a pivotal role in forming their current value systems, though they may need to detach or redefine these values as they mature. This could mean questioning the financial or moral teachings from family and, overall, developing an independent sense of worth. They are called to step out of early conditioning and establish a unique value system that resonates with their personal ideals and beliefs. This process can be challenging, especially if they experienced instability or trauma in their early years, such as family conflict or financial hardship. These early experiences serve as lessons, pushing them to discern the true worth of material possessions, personal relationships, and spiritual ideals. For those with this placement, family holds a special karmic significance, often serving as both a source of support and responsibility. These individuals may feel an innate drive to nurture and protect their family, either by providing financial stability or by fostering a secure environment. It is common for them to find themselves in positions where they must support family members financially or act as the backbone of the household. This responsibility might occasionally feel burdensome, but it is through these experiences that they learn about dedication, sacrifice, and the importance of familial bonds. In many ways, their legacy will be defined by how they cared for their family and how they honored the values they held dear. This placement also brings a karmic emphasis on conscientious financial practices. Individuals are called to approach their financial dealings with integrity, avoiding any shortcuts or dishonest practices. Their journey may involve learning about money through trial and error, especially if they make impulsive financial decisions early in life. In these instances, the setbacks serve as crucial learning points, encouraging them to practice responsibility and moderation. This placement nudges them to master financial self-discipline, not only for personal gain but also to ensure they can support their family with honesty and reliability. This principled approach to finance is integral to their soul's growth. Communication and expression are other vital aspects of this placement. Here, the individual's voice, both literally and figuratively, becomes a tool for fulfilling karmic duties. How they communicate with family, peers, and society at large carries substantial weight. If they possess a gentle, kind manner of speaking, they can foster harmony and become influential within their family or community. Conversely, poor communication or a lack of mindfulness in speech can lead to misunderstandings or conflict. Those with this placement are encouraged to cultivate a respectful, sincere, and clear way of speaking, as their words can significantly impact the lives of those around them. In some cases, they may even have a career that involves speaking, teaching, or mentoring, further underscoring the importance of effective communication in their karmic path. If a specific planet represents the Atmakaraka, it adds distinct nuances to the individual's karmic journey. For example, if Saturn is the Atmakaraka, financial growth may come slowly, often through hard work and perseverance. Early financial difficulties may teach these individuals the value of savings, frugality, and resourcefulness. Conversely, if Venus occupies this position, there may be a natural affinity for beauty, luxury, and harmonious relationships, yet a need to balance material desires with principled standards. With Mars as the Atmakaraka, the focus might shift to assertiveness and a proactive approach in acquiring wealth, yet this can also require learning restraint to avoid hasty or aggressive financial moves. The karmic path associated with the second house placement also emphasizes building a legacy. This does not necessarily mean fame or widespread recognition. Rather, it means leaving a meaningful impact on one's family, community, or even in a spiritual sense. Individuals with the Atmakaraka in this house are encouraged to lead by example, particularly when it comes to upholding family values, managing finances with integrity, and nurturing those who depend on them. Their life lessons often involve setting an example that others in their family or community can look up to. Another crucial dimension of this placement is the individual's ongoing relationship with dependence and support. Early in life, they may have been dependent on others for financial or emotional security. However, as they grow, the responsibility often shifts, and they may find themselves providing that support to others. Through this process, they come to value self-sufficiency while recognizing the importance of supporting their family and community. This placement thus guides them to balance self-reliance with the responsibility of caretaking, all within a principled framework. Overall, those with this placement are on a profound journey of value clarification. By learning to uphold conscientious standards, cultivating strong familial bonds, and approaching wealth responsibly, they fulfill their karmic obligations and progress spiritually. This placement invites them to delve deeply into questions of worth, both material and spiritual, and to emerge with a grounded, value-driven life that serves as a model for others. Through dedication to family, honesty in earnings, and mindful communication, they can achieve a harmonious balance, leaving a lasting, positive imprint on their loved ones and community. When the Atmakaraka resides in the third house, a person's sole purpose gravitates around developing courage, self-expression, and personal enterprise. This placement places a strong karmic emphasis on cultivating bravery and initiative, especially in the context of relationships with siblings, neighbors, and close friends. The individual is likely to encounter life experiences that challenge them to shed inhibitions and adopt a proactive, independent approach to life. With Atmakaraka in the third house, the journey of self-discovery and expression is tied to how they convey their beliefs and build their identity apart from external influences. They are driven to craft a unique voice, mastering the art of communication, and refining their own ideas. In many cases, this placement brings a mission to create something from scratch, whether it be a business, personal skill set, or lifestyle, often becoming known for their expertise and dedication. A core theme for these individuals revolves around overcoming obstacles related to self-confidence and asserting their identity. The third house represents the house of effort, highlighting the karmic task of generating their success through tenacity and hard work. Their journey encourages self-correction and ongoing personal refinement. This freedom, however, comes with the responsibility of living with integrity and authentically, as the third house is where one's true character comes to light. Their legacy often rests on how they utilize their communication skills, the depth of their ideas, and the example they set through their interactions. They are tasked with building a reputation of resilience, transparency, and principled behavior in their pursuits, as this will be the lasting impact they leave on those around them. The presence of Atmakaraka in the third house indicates a strong link with younger siblings and close companions, implying karmic obligations to support and guide them. The bond with siblings, whether harmonious or challenging, becomes an integral aspect of their soul's evolution. Their life path may involve acting as a role model, protector, or guide to their siblings and helping them grow as well. In this role, they might feel a sense of duty toward ensuring the well-being of their siblings, even if it means bridging gaps that arise from misunderstandings or past conflicts. If they choose to ignore or disconnect from these bonds, unresolved karma can resurface, creating cycles of tension or emotional strain. With Atmakaraka in the third, these individuals are likely to find meaning and fulfillment in addressing issues head-on with their siblings. Short-distance travel and day-to-day interactions are also emphasized with Atmakaraka in the third house. This placement suggests a lifestyle marked by frequent journeys or relocations, often connected to self-discovery or personal growth. For these individuals, each journey serves as a microcosm of life's larger lessons, teaching them resilience, adaptability, and a sense of independence. Travel, in this sense, is both literal and metaphorical. Their growth often lies in venturing beyond comfort zones, making connections, and opening themselves to new experiences. This placement may also indicate a fondness for hands-on, craft-based activities or pursuits that allow them to express creativity through tangible mediums. This position of the Atmakaraka implies a strong need to be in an environment where they feel respected and free to express their beliefs. The third house highlights the importance of individuality, and Atmakaraka here insists that they find a place where their ideas and personal philosophy are honored. These individuals may feel a visceral discomfort in settings where they are not encouraged to be authentic or express their voice. Consequently, they often seek relationships, jobs, or communities where they feel seen and valued for who they are. If they find themselves in places that restrict their self-expression, it can lead to feelings of entrapment and frustration. Therefore, the ability to communicate openly and build supportive networks becomes crucial. With this placement, career and livelihood are often intertwined with communication and self-expression. Depending on the planetary influences at play, these individuals may excel in fields requiring strong oratory or literary skills, such as writing, teaching, marketing, or media. If the Atmakaraka is Sun, there's a drive for leadership, pushing them to create impact through personal effort and discipline. With Venus in the third, they may have a natural talent for artistic pursuits or design, using aesthetics to communicate their ideas. Jupiter as Atmakaraka in the third amplifies their role as a teacher or advisor, making them naturally suited to fields that involve guidance or mentorship. Regardless of the specific planetary influence, this placement suggests that their career often involves influencing others, either through words or actions, and that they find satisfaction in being recognized for their skills and hard work. In terms of personal growth, Atmakaraka in the third house tests their ability to stand by their ideals and speak their truth, even in the face of opposition. They are encouraged to develop mental fortitude and refrain from being swayed by external judgments or criticism. This placement bestows a powerful lesson in self-reliance and integrity, urging them to trust their intuition and stay rooted in their values. For individuals with a malefic influence on this placement, overthinking or compulsive behaviors can arise, indicating a need to work on mental clarity. Lastly, the Atmakaraka in the third house speaks to their duty to support their immediate environment and community, extending beyond family. They are often compelled to help those in their neighborhood or close circle, lending support where needed and establishing themselves as a dependable presence. Whether through volunteering, assisting with local events, or simply offering a helping hand, their actions resonate on a karmic level, bringing them closer to fulfilling their soul's purpose. Through selfless efforts and positive contributions, they create a legacy of compassion and resilience, inspiring others in their community. The third house Atmakaraka person is tasked with leaving a legacy that exemplifies courage and a commitment to lifting others up, fulfilling their karmic debt through genuine connection and service. When the Atmakaraka, the planet representing the soul's deepest purpose and karmic journey, is placed in the fourth house, an individual's life mission revolves around nurturing and domestic responsibilities. The fourth house is the domain of the home, family, emotional foundation, and inner peace. This positioning of the Atmakaraka often indicates a strong focus on one's childhood environment and a karmic duty toward family, particularly maternal figures. For those with Atmakaraka in this house, life lessons frequently emerge through their early home environment, and unresolved family issues may significantly shape their sense of identity. This placement underscores the importance of cultivating inner stability, as these individuals may either feel deeply tied to their family roots or wrestle with a need to break free from them. One of the central themes for those with Atmakaraka in the fourth house is the need to build a strong emotional foundation. They often feel a deep yearning to understand and resolve their dynamic with their primary caregiver, frequently the mother. This relationship can bring either great strength or emotional challenges, depending on the planetary influence and aspects. If benefic planets like Venus or Moon are Atmakaraka, these individuals may experience a nurturing relationship with their mother or maternal figures, fostering emotional resilience. However, malefic planets, such as Saturn or Mars, as the Atmakaraka, can indicate a strained relationship or a challenging home environment, compelling the individual to work through issues of duty, respect, or even separation. This journey serves as a foundation for their soul's growth, pushing them to understand the nature of love, care, and personal boundaries. The fourth house is also associated with property, wealth, and the physical space one occupies. Consequently, these individuals often feel a pull toward creating a stable, comfortable home and may have a particular interest in real estate or acquiring assets. However, this pursuit of stability must be approached with integrity and mindfulness. Those with Atmakaraka in the fourth house may struggle between an intense drive for security and the temptation to acquire material comforts at all costs. If the Atmakaraka is a planet like Jupiter, there may be a natural inclination toward fairness and uprightness in these endeavors. Conversely, if afflicted, Atmakaraka could suggest a temptation toward shortcuts or questionable means in acquiring wealth, which would ultimately detract from their soul's purpose. These individuals may also carry karmic responsibilities related to creating a sense of security and nurturing for those around them. This isn't limited to just immediate family but can extend to the broader community, emphasizing their role as caretakers or pillars of support. Their presence in the household or community often becomes a source of comfort and stability. However, they must learn to balance their responsibility toward others with their personal need for growth and self-expression. This placement can bring challenges in separating personal identity from family obligations, as they may feel overly tied to the welfare of their loved ones. Therefore, it is essential for those with Atmakaraka in the fourth house to find a healthy balance between serving their family and asserting their own individual needs and aspirations. The influence of the Atmakaraka's dignity and aspects is pivotal here. For example, if Saturn is the Atmakaraka in the fourth house, the individual may have a sense of duty toward family that feels burdensome, particularly if Saturn is retrograde or afflicted. In such cases, the person may feel emotionally distant or may struggle with expressing affection. This influence can indicate a rigid upbringing or a family environment where emotional connection was overshadowed by duty and discipline. The lesson here would be to learn empathy, emotional resilience, and the importance of flexibility in relationships. On the other hand, if benefic planets influence Atmakaraka, it can bring a sense of warmth, emotional support, and balance within the family environment, facilitating a smoother flow of love and harmony. Those with Atmakaraka in the 4th house often feel an intense need for emotional security and stability in their life. This makes choosing a suitable career and work environment critical. They should avoid professions that require extensive travel or long hours away from home, as this can leave them feeling disconnected and unsettled. Careers in fields related to home, property, caregiving, counseling, or community work may be particularly fulfilling, as they align with the individual's karmic need to create and sustain a nurturing environment. Incompatible career choices or lifestyles that undermine family time can leave these individuals feeling empty, as their soul requires a grounded, stable environment to thrive. For some with this placement, there's a karmic connection to ancestral heritage or ancestral properties. The responsibility to uphold family traditions or manage inherited properties can sometimes feel like a heavy obligation. Yet, by handling these legacies with care and respect, they can fulfill part of their karmic duty and gain inner peace. Building a harmonious home and preserving their family legacy becomes a means through which they pay off their karmic debts, as they learn the importance of loyalty, respect, and genuine care in sustaining family ties. Overall, Atmakaraka in the 4th house directs the individual's journey toward building emotional resilience, fulfilling family responsibilities, and fostering a sense of inner security. The lesson here is to cultivate peace and stability, not only for oneself but also for the people they hold dear. By mastering the art of nurturing both others and themselves, they develop a fulfilling sense of purpose. Their journey is not just about creating a stable home but about embodying the qualities of warmth, integrity, and support. Whether through family connections, property management, or community roles, those with Atmakaraka in the 4th house are on a path to foster harmony and leave a legacy rooted in compassion and care. When Atmakaraka, or the planet representing one's sole purpose, is placed in the 5th house, it significantly influences a person's journey towards self-discovery, creativity, and legacy. This house governs creativity, children, romance, and personal joy, meaning those with Atmakaraka here feel a deep spiritual drive to express themselves creatively, leave a mark through their creations or children, and pursue experiences that bring personal joy and fulfillment. They are often tasked with nurturing their inner child, healing any past life or childhood wounds, and embracing life with a playful yet responsible approach. This placement may also indicate the need to balance pleasure and responsibility, ensuring that the desire for joy does not overshadow the commitment to spiritual growth. Individuals with Atmakaraka in the 5th house are likely to have strong karmic ties from past lives, particularly involving positive deeds or contributions. They may carry latent talents, skills, or creative abilities they honed in previous lifetimes, which now emerge as natural gifts or inclinations. For example, they might display an innate talent in arts, music, or other expressive forms but could feel an inner urge to refine and share these skills with others, fulfilling a deeper purpose. This may also manifest as a strong sense of dharma, or duty, to uphold spiritual or moral principles. Many with this placement find a calling in fields that allow them to inspire or uplift others, whether through teaching, performing, or working with children. Atmakaraka in the 5th house also ties one's spiritual path to the way they raise their children and the values they impart. If this person chooses to have children, they view parenthood as a sacred duty. Their approach to child rearing often reflects their spiritual beliefs, and they tend to instill principles of compassion, wisdom, and responsibility in the next generation. There is a powerful urge to guide their children to become positive, well-rounded individuals. This karmic focus on children can mean that a significant part of their soul's journey is dedicated to the development of others, particularly younger people or protégés, who may look up to them for guidance. This legacy can carry forward in their family, or through the students or mentors they inspire. Speculation and risk-taking are also associated with the 5th house, giving individuals a tendency to be drawn toward activities that involve creativity and chance. The way they handle risk, whether they take calculated risks or indulge recklessly, forms a part of their spiritual learning. They must navigate the challenge of balancing the thrill of speculative ventures with a sense of moral responsibility. In financial pursuits or investments, individuals with Atmakaraka here might be inclined towards stock markets, entrepreneurship, or other high-stakes fields where they feel able to exercise their creative strategies. However, they should be cautious of letting ambition drive them to unscrupulous practices, as this could detract from their spiritual growth and tarnish the legacy they hope to create. Atmakaraka in the 5th house encourages individuals to prioritize roles that offer them a creative outlet, as self-expression and authenticity are vital to their happiness. People with this placement may struggle in environments where they cannot be themselves, or where their creative potential is stifled. If they are unable to express their true nature, be it in a professional setting or a personal relationship, they may experience dissatisfaction or restlessness. Their path involves learning to align their work and relationships with their core values and personal interests, allowing them to live authentically. Thus, if they find themselves in a career or marriage that limits their creativity, they may eventually leave or reframe it to create more personal freedom. This placement also has a strong connection to the idea of leaving a legacy, particularly through creative achievements or contributions to society. Whether through art, writing, intellectual pursuits, or personal mentoring, people with Atmakaraka in the 5th house feel compelled to make a lasting impact. Their legacy is likely to be remembered not just for tangible achievements, but also for the inspiration, joy, and wisdom they imparted to others. The journey may demand a balance between ego-driven desires and genuine passion. They should focus on honing their craft or creativity not for applause but for the inherent satisfaction and growth it brings. Spiritually, Atmakaraka in the 5th house fosters a profound interest in dharma or spiritual practices, as these areas provide a framework for understanding life and its deeper purpose. They often turn to spirituality not just for personal solace but also as a guide in how they engage with the world. In balancing creativity with spirituality, these individuals find a unique path that merges artistic expression with philosophical or moral insight. While they enjoy the pleasures and joys of life, they are mindful not to let these pursuits detract from their higher spiritual goals. When benefic planets like Jupiter, Venus, or the Moon serve as Atmakaraka in the 5th house, the person may have a warm, magnetic personality that attracts others easily, as well as a natural aptitude for arts and philosophy. They are likely to experience joy and satisfaction through their children or students, and they may find meaning in nurturing others' growth. However, if the Atmakaraka is a more challenging planet like Saturn or Mars, these individuals may encounter obstacles in their creative pursuits or challenges with children, which prompt them to develop patience, resilience, and maturity. Overall, the 5th house Atmakaraka urges individuals to remain true to their creative spirit while maintaining integrity and moral responsibility. By channeling their talents into meaningful contributions, fostering a healthy family life, and committing to spiritual practices, they fulfill their karmic mission in this life. Their soul growth is intricately linked to how well they embrace life's joys without losing sight of their higher principles. Whether in artistic, intellectual, or personal spheres, they are here to show others the value of joy, creativity, and responsible freedom, leaving behind a legacy that inspires others to live fully and authentically. When Atmakaraka, the soul's significator, falls in the 6th house, it indicates a karmic journey focused on self-improvement, service, health, and overcoming competition. The 6th house is traditionally associated with challenges, obstacles, adversaries, daily routines, and health matters, so the Atmakaraka here points to a life where significant learning arises from navigating these spheres. Such individuals are often drawn to professions and paths involving problem-solving, nurturing, and healing, especially in areas like medicine, law, finance, and social work. This placement signals a deep karmic call to address issues tied to both personal and collective service, and it encourages the individual to become a beacon of support, especially in times of crisis or conflict. Those with Atmakaraka in the 6th house often experience a strong drive to perfect their routines and dedicate themselves to self-improvement. They may have a natural inclination toward meticulous planning and an analytical mindset that helps them address obstacles effectively. This can manifest as a powerful desire to optimize their lives, whether through structured routines, disciplined work habits, or even focusing on health and wellness. However, this commitment to personal and collective betterment often brings a heightened awareness of competition and potential conflicts. These individuals tend to be vigilant of adversaries and may become highly invested in maintaining fairness and integrity in competitive settings, from workplaces to social environments. The 6th house's association with health and physical well-being also highlights an important theme in the life of someone with Atmakaraka here. Such individuals may either work in fields that promote health or find that their own well-being is a significant aspect of their journey. The challenges they face could range from physical ailments to mental health struggles, particularly if they tend to internalize stress from managing their responsibilities or attending to others' needs. This placement often suggests a karmic need to cultivate a balanced lifestyle, learn self-care, and avoid overextending themselves in service to others. In the workplace, those with this placement often experience significant karmic interactions, meeting individuals who bring important lessons or challenges. They may encounter tough competition or face unfair practices from others, testing their integrity and resilience. The sixth house encourages learning through competition, so individuals with this placement must navigate moral boundaries and choose whether to retaliate against others or to set an example by maintaining moral principles. This placement suggests that their life purpose is intimately connected to learning humility, handling adversaries with grace, and demonstrating an unyielding sense of duty even amid adversity. These individuals are often drawn to selfless service, sometimes working long hours to help others, especially in professional roles where they can serve the broader community. Depending on the Atmakaraka planet, the flavor of this life purpose can vary significantly. If the Atmakaraka is the sun, it can bring natural authority, dignity, and respect in the workplace, where the individual shines as a figure of leadership and honor. The sun here may create a Raja Yoga, a regal combination that amplifies social standing and brings opportunities for influence and respect. Alternatively, if Saturn is the Atmakaraka, there can be an unyielding dedication to hard work, often manifesting as long, tiring hours with little respite. Saturn here reinforces a sense of duty and a karmic need to persevere, often without immediate rewards, and these individuals may find satisfaction in the slow, steady progression of service. When Atmakaraka is a benefic like Venus in the sixth house, it brings a sensitivity to balance and harmony. Venus here may face challenges, as the sixth house is traditionally a place of struggle, as it has Virgo energy, potentially causing an imbalance in Venusian energies related to harmony, pleasure, and relationships. Individuals with Venus as their Atmakaraka in the sixth house may struggle with balancing their need for connection and love with the realities of daily responsibilities and health routines. They often find satisfaction in helping others but may need to take breaks to avoid burnout or emotional depletion. Alternatively, if a compassionate yet vulnerable planet like the Moon occupies this position, individuals might feel overwhelmed by others' needs or may have difficulty establishing emotional boundaries, risking becoming overly involved in others' struggles. An important lesson for those with Atmakaraka in the sixth house is to avoid letting their lives revolve entirely around competition or becoming overly focused on adversaries. This placement encourages a balanced approach to handling opposition, either ignoring competition nor letting it consume their energy. The goal is to focus on self-discipline, moral behavior, and service, instead of being caught up in rivalries or spending too much energy on controlling situations or people. Developing a calm, detached approach helps them to rise above petty disputes and focus on constructive self-improvement. People with Atmakaraka in the sixth house are often pushed toward causes or service-related pursuits beyond personal gain. They might find satisfaction in roles that directly support society, whether through volunteer work, environmental causes, or healthcare. This placement is often linked to a karmic need to uplift those around them, leaving a legacy of compassion, responsibility, and healing. They may be seen as reliable individuals who bring order and support to chaotic environments, acting as stabilizers for those who depend on them. Overall, the sixth house Atmakaraka placement calls for a lifetime of navigating the complexities of work, health, and service. The spiritual growth path here requires balance, learning to give without depletion, competing without hostility, and perfecting one's daily routine without obsessiveness. The individual's purpose involves overcoming the karma of past lives related to work and service and establishing a moralistic, dedicated approach to helping others. Their journey, while laden with challenges, offers profound fulfillment and a sense of purpose when they focus on contributing to society's welfare, embracing resilience, and practicing humility. This position, while intense, offers a unique opportunity to transform adversity into a powerful force for personal and collective growth. For those with Atmakaraka in the seventh house, the soul's journey centers around forming and nurturing deep, meaningful partnerships, and much of their life's fulfillment is tied to the quality of these relationships. Whether through marriage, business partnerships, or everyday interactions, these individuals derive a great sense of satisfaction from connecting with others and often find their happiness depends on the stability and harmony of these relationships. This placement speaks of a life where the soul's purpose revolves around cooperation, balance, and mutual support, highlighting the need for diplomacy and compromise. A significant part of the life journey with Atmakaraka in the seventh house involves understanding the essence of give and take in relationships. People with this placement often possess an innate talent for judging character and building long-lasting connections. However, the karmic pull of the seventh house also means that they must navigate a path filled with both nurturing bonds and difficult relational lessons. These individuals may encounter challenges in sustaining connections that do not align with their spiritual growth or higher ideals. Learning when to release unfulfilling relationships and focus on those that offer growth becomes a key lesson. With Atmakaraka in the seventh house, marriage and committed relationships take on an almost sacred importance. For these individuals, a harmonious partnership can feel like a foundation for everything else in life. When they are in a healthy, loving relationship, they can find it much easier to navigate other aspects of life. However, If a marriage or partnership becomes strained, it can deeply affect their peace of mind, productivity, and overall well-being. Such individuals are likely to realize the extent of this impact only once they are committed to a partnership. Prior to marriage, they may not fully understand how central a relationship will become to their identity and life's purpose. Thus, finding the right partner and taking care of the relationship is essential for their happiness. Atmakaraka in the 7th house also brings to focus the broader spectrum of daily relationships, not just with a spouse or business partner, but also with colleagues, neighbors, and even people with whom they interact regularly. This placement requires them to assess the legacy they leave in all these relationships, how they treat people in their everyday life, the colleague at their office, the people they collaborate with, even the person who helps with their cleaning, contributes to the karmic path they are meant to walk. It's as though the universe is watching closely, placing them in situations where they must choose between selfish gain and genuine service to others. A key lesson for these individuals is to maintain fairness and integrity in dealings. Given the 7th house's connection with the sign of Libra, there is a call for balance in all interactions. People with Atmakaraka here are often called upon to support others selflessly rather than seeking personal gains, to give more in partnerships rather than merely asking or expecting. The focus lies on fairness and generosity, and in return, they receive appreciation and goodwill. Their reputation in relationships and business can build or diminish based on how honorably and responsibly they manage their connections. Atmakaraka in the 7th house also brings unique challenges. Those with this placement may sometimes struggle with codependency or may prioritize their partner's needs to the point of losing sight of their own individuality. Finding a balance between self-expression and partnership obligations is vital. This placement may also draw individuals into partnerships with karmic elements, where the lessons are intense and, at times, difficult to navigate. Many with Atmakaraka in the 7th may also have past life karma connected to a spouse or a significant relationship, suggesting that these partnerships are often revisited to work out unresolved issues from previous lives. The experience of Atmakaraka in the 7th house is further colored by the planet occupying this position. For example, if Mars is Atmakaraka in the 7th house, it can bring intensity and assertiveness to relationships, requiring the person to learn the balance between assertion and harmony. Mars here pushes them to neutralize conflict and understand how to manage any aggressive tendencies within partnerships. On the other hand, if Mercury is Atmakaraka in the 7th house, issues in communication and a tendency to intellectualize emotions might arise. They may find themselves focusing on verbal exchange rather than emotional bonding, and developing emotional intelligence becomes a priority. If the Sun is Atmakaraka, the individual may encounter struggles with asserting their individuality within relationships due to the Sun's natural debilitation in the 7th house, linked to Libra's influence. This can lead them to experience challenges with personal power, often feeling overshadowed by their partner's presence or influence. Atmakaraka in the 7th house also emphasizes the concept of mutual responsibility in partnerships. These individuals are often tasked with understanding the importance of reciprocity. This placement demands a thoughtful approach to relationship roles, as being overly controlling or inflexible can lead to relationship discord. In some cases, they may find themselves involved in roles where they offer support and guidance to others, such as in counseling or mediation roles, as their innate understanding of partnership dynamics makes them suitable for helping others navigate relational challenges. Overall, individuals with Atmakaraka in the 7th house carry a karmic responsibility in relationships, emphasizing fairness, respect, and mutual support. Their journey is one of self-discovery through partnerships, where they learn invaluable lessons in compromise, balance, and moral conduct. They must work toward creating a legacy of kindness and respect, aiming to be remembered as supportive, fair, and reliable partners, friends, and colleagues. For those with this placement, true fulfillment comes not only from successful relationships but also from leaving behind a lasting impression of genuine goodwill and shared growth. When Atmakaraka, the soul's significator, resides in the 8th house of a natal chart, it signifies a profound journey of transformation, upheaval, and resilience. This placement indicates that the individual's soul purpose is deeply intertwined with navigating hidden realms, both internal and external, leading them through experiences that often test their willpower, principles, and adaptability. Such individuals frequently encounter challenging circumstances, whether in the form of financial crises, health issues, or emotional turmoil. However, these obstacles are often karmically charged, meant to serve as catalysts for spiritual growth and self-discovery. The 8th house's association with mysticism, secrets, and shared resources further means that individuals with Atmakaraka here are likely to delve into these areas, seeking to uncover truths hidden from the surface, either about themselves or the world around them. The 8th house often reveals turbulent themes like dishonesty, control struggles, and power dynamics, which individuals with Atmakaraka here must confront head-on. They may find themselves repeatedly tested in moral situations, faced with choices that challenge their values and require a steadfast commitment to honesty and honor. Situations may arise where they have control over other people's resources, such as managing finances or handling sensitive information, testing their sense of integrity. Their karmic path often compels them to help others through hardship, acting as a guiding force or a source of support for those facing similar challenges. As they learn to navigate these situations responsibly and support others selflessly, they cleanse accumulated karmic debt, aligning with the transformative and purgative energy of the 8th house. Individuals with Atmakaraka in the 8th house may feel a deep connection to their lineage, sensing that they are here to heal or resolve issues that have persisted across generations. They may feel spiritually guided or protected by their ancestors, especially during crises or moments of uncertainty. This connection can lead them to explore occult sciences, such as astrology, healing modalities, or spiritual rituals, as these practices offer insight and resolution for long-standing karmic issues. By tapping into these mystical realms, they gain the tools needed to face their challenges with resilience and poise. Atmakaraka in the 8th house also emphasizes personal transformation. Individuals may undergo significant inner shifts, which may feel like complete metamorphoses over time. These transformations, often brought about by unexpected life events, act as soul-level purges, shedding attachments or behaviors that no longer serve them. They become adept at reinventing themselves, often appearing to others as mysterious or even secretive. This pattern of rebirth enables them to confront hidden fears and develop a profound understanding of life's impermanent and cyclical nature. Their intense life journey may lead them to empathize with those who face struggles, allowing them to serve as a pillar of strength or inspiration. The 8th house governs mysticism and hidden knowledge, making Atmakaraka in this house an indicator of a soul with a natural pull toward occult or esoteric practices. This inclination may express itself as an interest in researching ancient wisdom, spiritual practices, or even conspiracy theories. Such individuals often feel driven to explore subjects that others might avoid or dismiss as taboo, and their insights often go beyond the ordinary understanding of reality. However, with this deep dive into hidden realms, there is also a caution. Atmakaraka in the 8th house can sometimes lead to fixating on fears or pessimistic outlooks, so they must take care not to become trapped in a cycle of negativity or escapism. The planet serving as Atmakaraka has a notable impact on this placement, adding specific dimensions to the experiences and challenges faced. For example, Mars as Atmakaraka in the 8th house suggests intense courage and resilience, often pushing the individual to confront physical or even life-threatening situations head-on. However, they may need to guard against impulsive actions when under stress. If the moon is the Atmakaraka in the 8th house, the individual's emotional world is deeply tied to the mysteries and cycles of life and death, which can lead to moments of emotional turbulence and sensitivity to the unseen. The mind may feel drawn to research or hidden knowledge, though it is essential for such individuals to maintain emotional grounding to avoid becoming overwhelmed by dark or pessimistic thoughts. Individuals with Saturn as Atmakaraka in the 8th house might experience their karmic lessons through a prolonged and disciplined exploration of hidden realms. Such a placement demands a gradual, methodical approach to the themes of the 8th house, often leading the person to learn patience and perseverance while tackling the challenges before them. Saturn's influence here suggests a tendency to delay transformation, possibly creating a prolonged struggle with letting go of past attachments. Nonetheless, when these individuals do embrace change, the lessons learned are profound and long-lasting. To make the most of Atmakaraka in the 8th house, spirituality often becomes a necessary path. This placement is closely linked to the liberation goals in life, which require detachment, honorable living, and service to others. It is often beneficial for such individuals to seek spiritual mentorship, as the guidance of a guru or teacher can provide clarity and direction. Without this grounding influence, they may wander, feeling lost or disconnected from their purpose. Engaging in practices like meditation, introspection, or even occult sciences can provide them with the structure needed to channel their energy toward personal and spiritual elevation. Overall, individuals with Atmakaraka in the 8th house are destined to experience life's depths and uncertainties. Their journey may be intense, marked by trials that test their integrity and resilience. But these challenges are necessary for spiritual evolution, offering them opportunities to transform themselves and guide others through life's darker moments. This placement can lead to a life that, though demanding, offers profound wisdom and insight. By embracing their purpose and learning to navigate challenges morally and compassionately, these individuals not only uplift themselves but also pave the way for a lasting legacy of transformation and service. When Atmakaraka, the soul's significator, is placed in the 9th house, it signifies a lifetime deeply connected to spirituality, moral growth, learning, and philosophical understanding. This placement suggests that the individual's soul journey is tied to exploring different perspectives, engaging in higher education, and potentially acting as a guide or teacher for others. The ninth house traditionally represents religion, philosophy, and the pursuit of truth, making it a powerful house for personal and spiritual development. With Atmakaraka here, the native often feels compelled to seek meaning in life, and they may find their greatest fulfillment in understanding and sharing knowledge, particularly that which concerns higher principles or spirituality. One of the key aspects of this placement is a strong karmic link to mentors and teachers. Individuals with Atmakaraka in the ninth house are often guided by influential mentors or spiritual figures who shape their outlook on life. This guidance can provide them with a philosophical foundation, helping them navigate their moral compass and enrich their lives with wisdom. In turn, these individuals are likely to become teachers or mentors themselves, as they have a natural inclination to impart knowledge and uplift others. They tend to inspire others not only with what they say but with how they live, serving as examples of integrity and commitment to truth. Atmakaraka in the ninth house also indicates a significant relationship with one's father or father-like figures. These individuals often look up to their fathers as a source of wisdom and guidance. However, depending on other aspects in the chart, this relationship could either be harmonious or filled with challenges. Benefic influences in this position usually signify a positive relationship, where the native gains a lot from their father's teachings. However, if malefic influences are present, this relationship could be strained, leading to emotional distance or misunderstandings. Such individuals may need to work on healing this bond or find their own way of interpreting and honoring their father's legacy. Another important theme for this placement is travel and cultural exploration. The ninth house is associated with long journeys, both physical and mental. Individuals with Atmakaraka here are often drawn to travel to distant places, immersing themselves in diverse cultures, religions, and philosophies. They may have a natural curiosity about the world and enjoy learning about traditions and customs that differ from their own. Through travel, they gain a broader perspective and develop empathy and tolerance for diverse viewpoints. This placement also enhances their adaptability, enabling them to relate well to people from various backgrounds. Those with Atmakaraka in the ninth house tend to possess strong personal beliefs and are often deeply connected to their principles. They may follow their own version of faith or spirituality, one that resonates with their inner truth rather than strictly adhering to established religious doctrines. However, this strong connection to their beliefs can also make them resistant to others' perspectives. These individuals must learn to balance their convictions with openness to avoid becoming dogmatic. Embracing humility and acknowledging that truth can manifest in many forms can enrich their spiritual journey and strengthen their connections with others. A significant aspect of Atmakaraka in the ninth house is the importance of righteous action. This placement indicates a karmic duty to uphold virtuous standards, making choices that align with moral principles and the greater good. These individuals are often tested in situations that require them to choose between self-interest and the well-being of others. How they respond to these situations defines their karmic journey. If they remain true to principled practices, they are likely to find peace and spiritual fulfillment. However, straying from this path may bring significant challenges, as the ninth house emphasizes the importance of leading a life of integrity. Intellectually, those with Atmakaraka in the ninth house often pursue higher learning, whether formally or informally. This can manifest as an academic path, spiritual studies, or self-driven exploration of philosophical or metaphysical topics. Higher education plays a pivotal role in their growth, and they may achieve high levels of qualification. In terms of personal relationships, individuals with Atmakaraka in the ninth house are often drawn to partners who share similar philosophical or spiritual inclinations. For them, intellectual and spiritual alignment is crucial in forming close bonds, whether in friendships, romantic relationships, or business partnerships. If they feel a lack of mental and philosophical compatibility, it can lead to discontent, as they prioritize depth and understanding in all their relationships. It's essential for them to seek out connections that honor their inner quest for truth and allow them the freedom to explore their beliefs. The ninth house placement brings a sense of duty to support and guide others, especially fellow travelers or those they encounter on their spiritual journey. People with this placement often act as pillars of support for others, particularly when it comes to sharing knowledge, wisdom, or providing emotional support. When traveling, they tend to act with consideration and compassion, often becoming ambassadors of goodwill. This generosity and commitment to service enhance their spiritual growth, as they learn to integrate their quest for wisdom with practical kindness. Finally, Atmakaraka in the ninth house often leads to a lifelong dedication to spiritual practices or pursuits, especially if supported by favorable planetary aspects. Such individuals may have a strong inclination toward meditation, prayer, or rituals, and many feel called to follow a spiritual path guided by a guru or teacher. They often find that the guidance of a mentor or spiritual leader is instrumental in their growth. Without this direction, they may feel somewhat lost, as the vast philosophical territory of the ninth house can be challenging to navigate alone. Overall, Atmakaraka in the ninth house represents a profound journey of spiritual exploration, moral development, and intellectual growth. These individuals carry a karmic responsibility to honor and spread wisdom, acting with integrity and respect for all beliefs. By embracing their unique path and learning to balance conviction with openness, they can fulfill their soul's purpose while leaving a positive, lasting impact on others. Their lives are marked by a commitment to truth, humility, and spiritual connection, allowing them to serve as beacons of wisdom in a world often in need of guidance and compassion. When the Atmakaraka, the planet representing the soul's primary desires and lessons in life, is placed in the 10th house, it suggests that the individual's life purpose and karmic journey are closely tied to their career, reputation, and societal contributions. The 10th house represents one's public life, status, and professional responsibilities, making this placement a powerful indicator of someone driven by a need to achieve and leave a meaningful mark on the world. These individuals often feel a deep-seated obligation towards society and may be compelled to build something lasting and impactful within their chosen field. This placement endows individuals with a heightened sense of duty and ambition. They are often highly career-oriented and committed to their goals, exhibiting a diligent sense of responsibility that sometimes verges on workaholism. Driven by the need to uphold tradition, create new pathways, or establish a respected presence, they are likely to gravitate towards roles that bring visibility and influence. These individuals may draw inspiration from father figures or mentors, adopting their values and strengths to achieve prominence. In some cases, the weight of their professional responsibilities can lead to a tendency to prioritize work over personal life, creating an imbalance that needs careful management. While they strive for success, this drive often comes with karmic lessons, especially related to humility and moral integrity. The Atmakaraka in the 10th house suggests that choosing a career aligned with their principles and values is essential for their spiritual fulfillment. Unlike conventional career pursuits solely focused on income, these individuals need a profession that resonates with their inner values and provides a sense of purpose beyond material success. They are encouraged to seek roles in organizations or sectors with strong moral frameworks or missions that they genuinely believe in. Their career choice should reflect not only their professional ambitions but also their desire to contribute meaningfully to society, as working in unprincipled or misaligned environments can cause inner conflict and dissatisfaction. Finding an organization or field that aligns with their moral and spiritual values enables them to work passionately and leave a legacy that benefits others. The responsibility associated with this placement is not only about career success but also about upholding a sense of moral integrity. It's common for people with this placement to face situations where they must choose between expedient success and maintaining virtuous principles. Navigating these moral challenges requires them to remain true to their values, even when this path might seem slower or more challenging. If they fail to uphold these principles, they risk tarnishing their reputation or being perceived as overly ambitious or self-centered. Success in this placement is ideally achieved through patience, principled actions, and dedication to serving the larger good, whether through mentoring others, advancing responsible business practices, or directly contributing to social welfare. This placement's intense drive can sometimes manifest as narcissism or an inflated sense of self, especially if they experience early success. Individuals with the Atmakaraka in the 10th house may need to temper their achievements with humility and respect for others. The power and status they accumulate can sometimes cloud their perception, making them susceptible to believing they are superior. This tendency could strain their relationships and isolate them from peers. Remaining grounded and empathetic is crucial. They must remember that their success is a tool for service, not a reason to look down on others. At a deeper karmic level, individuals with this placement are here to fulfill obligations that likely stem from past lifetimes related to authority, status, or responsibility toward the community. Their journey involves learning to handle power responsibly and to use their influence for positive societal impact. When aligned with their soul's purpose, they may find themselves in positions where they support others by creating jobs, mentoring, or taking leadership roles that impact the welfare of the community. This karmic mission is deeply fulfilling and reinforces their sense of purpose, helping them feel that their work extends beyond personal gain. If benefic influences support the Atmakaraka in the 10th house, individuals often receive recognition, respect, and admiration for their work. They may leave behind a legacy of accomplishments that inspire others, and their contributions can positively affect society in lasting ways. Such placements can encourage a career in fields like education, social reform, or governance, where their work has a direct impact on collective well-being. In contrast, a weak or afflicted Atmakaraka may bring challenges, such as job instability or career setbacks, which prompt them to reassess their professional path to align more closely with their spiritual purpose. The specific planet as the Atmakaraka also brings its unique qualities to this placement. For instance, if Mars is the Atmakaraka, the individual's life purpose may center around action-oriented goals, requiring courage and determination. Mars' energy here intensifies their drive to conquer challenges and fulfill career aspirations. In contrast, if the Moon is the Atmakaraka, emotional satisfaction from work becomes paramount, and they may gravitate toward fields where they can nurture or connect with others on an emotional level. Similarly, Saturn as the Atmakaraka can give a strong work ethic, patience, and resilience, but it also emphasizes that the individual's path may involve learning humility and dedication through slower, steady progress. Overall, having the Atmakaraka in the 10th house signifies a lifetime dedicated to building, achieving, and leading with integrity. For individuals with this placement, career is not just about earning a livelihood. It's a profound avenue for soul growth and contribution. They are called to pursue careers that reflect their principles and impact society positively. With discipline, moral adherence, and humility, they can fulfill their soul's purpose, leaving a legacy that embodies both professional success and the fulfillment of deep karmic duties. This placement reminds them that true accomplishment lies not just in status but in the lasting, positive effects of their work on the world around them. Having Atmakaraka in the 11th house signifies a profound connection to society, social networks, and humanitarian pursuits. The individual's sole purpose finds its expression through efforts aimed at benefiting broader communities and creating a legacy within society. These people are inherently drawn to causes, whether global or local, and often feel a deep responsibility to leave a positive impact. The 11th house represents networks, friendships, and philanthropic activities, and with the Atmakaraka here, one's life mission involves community-centered goals and a dedication to social welfare. This placement creates an inclination towards both personal and societal growth, as one's gains and fulfillment in life are tied to the well-being of others. Individuals with Atmakaraka in the 11th house tend to have a strong sense of social responsibility. They often feel compelled to act on issues that affect society at large, whether it's environmental work, community health, educational outreach, or social justice. These people are particularly sensitive to the needs of the collective and may find themselves drawn to initiatives that address broad societal issues. They're often well-connected, networking naturally, and building relationships that allow them to expand their influence. With a deep drive to assist others, they may contribute to community welfare projects or play roles in organizations dedicated to charitable causes. The urge to participate in large-scale activities to improve society is a hallmark of this placement, and they may take pride in supporting causes that benefit underprivileged groups or championing initiatives that uplift communities. Those with this placement are likely to leave a legacy that is memorable for its societal contributions. They may be involved in creating support systems or initiating projects that continue to serve others long after they are gone. A sense of purpose is derived from knowing that their work has a lasting impact on society. Whether they're planting trees, organizing community events, or creating awareness campaigns, they're focused on contributions that benefit future generations. This is a karmic placement, suggesting that past life actions are closely linked to current responsibilities in serving others. The 11th house signifies social karma, indicating that these individuals have unfinished business with friends, communities, or causes they encountered in previous lifetimes. Their current life may involve resolving these connections, either by supporting people from their past or repaying debts through service to society. This placement also emphasizes long-term thinking. Individuals are advised to approach their work and investments with patience and vision, avoiding short-term solutions. Pursuing quick gains may backfire for them, as the Atmakaraka in the 11th house encourages slow, steady progress that builds stability over time. Those with this placement might be tempted by schemes promising rapid success, but they find greater rewards in consistency and dedication to their ideals. Long-term efforts, particularly in the fields of philanthropy, social justice, or environmental sustainability, bring lasting fulfillment, whereas short-sighted actions may lead to setbacks or disappointment. The specific planet as Atmakaraka in the 11th house further influences the ways one's sole purpose aligns with societal goals. For instance, if Venus occupies this position, the person's purpose may involve fostering harmonious relationships within their social circle, often acting as a mediator or supporter among friends and networks. Venus as Atmakaraka brings a strong focus on balance, beauty, and cooperation, making these individuals adept at uniting people for a common cause. Similarly, if the Sun is Atmakaraka, the individual might find themselves in a leadership role, respected within their community, with a strong sense of purpose toward guiding and inspiring others. They are likely to be seen as authority figures among peers, often taking charge of group initiatives. If Jupiter, a planet of wisdom and generosity, is Atmakaraka in the 11th house, the individual's purpose is intricately connected to educating, mentoring, or aiding others in a moral or spiritual capacity. Such a person might feel inclined to support educational initiatives, mentor young people, or contribute to institutions dedicated to knowledge and well-being. They naturally gravitate towards expansive projects that encourage growth and improvement within society. However, if the Atmakaraka planet is weakly placed, they may experience challenges in their efforts, encountering resistance or struggling to mobilize resources effectively. Nonetheless, even with setbacks, their drive to serve society remains a central aspect of their purpose. Those with Atmakaraka in the 11th house often find themselves as pillars in their communities. They are remembered for their contributions and the integrity they bring to their social interactions. With a strong focus on friendship, they are loyal and supportive, known for standing by others in times of need. However, this responsibility can sometimes become burdensome, as they may feel overwhelmed by the demand for their help and support. To balance this, many find it necessary to set boundaries, focusing on projects and relationships that resonate deeply with their personal values. Atmakaraka in the 11th house speaks to the individual's journey of soul cleansing and inner development. It's about moving past superficial goals and focusing on one's deeper purpose, leaving behind a legacy of goodwill and positive change. How they interact within society is reflective of their own growth journey, with a focus on moral behavior, service, and contribution. There's a call for them to introspect on whether their actions truly align with their higher ideals, or if they occasionally stray for personal gain. This soul-searching aspect pushes them to maintain high moral standards and to purify their intentions. Overall, those with Atmakaraka in the 11th house are called to align their desires with the collective good. By contributing to causes they genuinely believe in, they are able to build a sense of personal satisfaction and fulfill their life purpose. Their lives become a testimony to what it means to live for a greater purpose, using their resources, talents, and connections for the betterment of society. They are remembered not only for their actions but for the enduring impact they have on the world, creating ripples of change that continue to benefit others long after they've moved on. For individuals with Atmakaraka in the 12th house, life often orbits around themes of spiritual awakening, self-reflection, and an inner journey of detachment from worldly desires. The 12th house represents transcendence, solitude, and the dissolution of the ego. When the soul's significator, the Atmakaraka, is placed here, it sets a path for profound inner transformation. Such individuals are often guided to shed past life attachments, heal karmic imprints, and find solace in spirituality. The soul's mission involves moving beyond superficial bonds and external recognition, urging the individual to embrace self-acceptance and inner peace. This placement bestows a natural inclination toward helping others, especially those marginalized or in distress. These individuals may feel a deep empathy for the vulnerable, motivating them to engage in humanitarian or philanthropic work. Such activities provide a sense of purpose that aligns with the 12th house's themes of charity and self-sacrifice. Often, people with this placement find themselves drawn to careers or volunteer roles in NGOs, hospitals, rehabilitation centers, or spiritual organizations. These environments allow them to channel their compassionate energies effectively, and they may experience satisfaction through service and support to those in need. Here, the challenge lies in balancing self-sacrifice with self-preservation, learning to give without becoming depleted. One defining trait of those with Atmakaraka in the 12th house is their chameleon-like ability to adapt and transform. These individuals can seem elusive or distant, often navigating between different personas as they search for a stable identity. This fluidity serves as a survival mechanism, allowing them to mirror others' energies and respond accordingly. However, this adaptability can lead to a feeling of being lost or misunderstood, as they may struggle to find a consistent sense of self. Over time, life's lessons teach them to embrace this adaptability as a gift, allowing them to engage with people from various walks of life and fostering a universal sense of connection. The 12th house also governs hidden realms, isolation, and mental well-being. With the Atmakaraka in this house, there is a strong emphasis on mental health and the need for introspection. People with this placement may find themselves dealing with internal struggles or emotional patterns that remain hidden from others, and sometimes even from themselves. These individuals need substantial time and solitude to recharge and make sense of their inner world. Their journey involves confronting subconscious fears, releasing past trauma, and achieving emotional clarity. For them, solitude is not merely a retreat but a space for self-discovery and healing. This placement often fosters a desire for spiritual elevation. As they progress in their journey, these individuals may seek answers in scriptures, meditation, and philosophical studies. The connection of the Atmakaraka to the 12th house offers a profound opportunity for spiritual transcendence, allowing them to rise above earthly desires and gain a deeper understanding of existence. If the chart also supports connections between the 1st house and the 12th house, this placement gains even more significance. It implies a life where spiritual liberation becomes achievable through selfless service and devotion. Such individuals can experience an elevation of their soul, progressing beyond the physical realm toward enlightenment. The 12th house's link to loss also highlights themes of detachment and relinquishment. These individuals may face situations where they are required to surrender control, release attachments, or give up certain comforts. This loss is not always material. It could represent the letting go of old beliefs, personal relationships, or societal expectations. When accepted with grace, these sacrifices can foster tremendous spiritual growth, liberating the soul from restrictive karmic patterns. Whether it's renouncing material possessions, overcoming addictions, or giving up unproductive relationships, this detachment helps them fulfill their soul's purpose. Depending on the Atmakaraka planet, the spiritual lessons and challenges may vary. For example, if Mercury is the Atmakaraka, the individual may experience communication issues, feeling more comfortable internalizing thoughts than sharing openly. Such individuals benefit from activities like journaling or meditation, which allow them to articulate their inner experiences without feeling exposed. Mars as Atmakaraka emphasizes inner discipline, and overcoming impulses becomes a central lesson, pushing them towards self-mastery. Venus in this position may challenge the individual's quest for emotional security, nudging them toward a journey of self-love and detachment from dependency on others. Jupiter here amplifies the drive for spiritual and philosophical pursuits, leading them to find fulfillment in teaching or guiding others on similar journeys. The duality of this placement means it can either elevate or challenge the individual, depending on the strength of benefic or malefic influences on the 12th house. Positive planetary support can turn them into deeply compassionate, selfless individuals who practice non-attachment, while malefic influences may trigger escapism or destructive habits like substance abuse. In cases where challenges are pronounced, focusing on structured spiritual practices, association with mentors or spiritual teachers, and maintaining a disciplined lifestyle become essential for positive growth. The Atmakaraka in the 12th house encourages self-exploration, introspection, and transcendence. These individuals may struggle to establish conventional career paths or relationships, as their focus gradually shifts towards spiritual fulfillment rather than worldly success. Their legacy lies not in material accomplishments but in the peace, wisdom, and compassion they share with others. This placement propels them to leave behind a positive impact, possibly through charitable work or simply by embodying an aura of tranquility and understanding that inspires others. Overall, the Atmakaraka in the 12th house is a powerful yet complex placement that guides individuals towards selfless service, spiritual evolution, and inner liberation. The more they embrace their mission of letting go, serving others, and seeking inner truth, the closer they come to fulfilling their soul's purpose. This life journey involves finding contentment in solitude, discovering strength in detachment, and above all, realizing that the ultimate fulfillment lies in transcending the ego and connecting with the divine. We hope this deep dive into the concept of Atmakaraka has given you a clearer view of your soul's journey and karmic path. Remember, the Atmakaraka is more than just a planet in your chart. It's a guide to your highest growth and spiritual fulfillment. Each house brings a unique set of lessons and opportunities for transformation, shaping the way you experience purpose and resilience in this lifetime. As we wrap up this episode, remember that these insights are based on sidereal or Vedic astrology, which accounts for the approximately 24-degree difference with the tropical zodiac. If you'd like more personalized predictions for your specific zodiac sign or have any questions about your astrological chart, feel free to reach out to us. Stay tuned for more astrological updates. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more astrology insights. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thank you once again for joining us, and we eagerly anticipate sharing more astrological wisdom with you in the future. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep shining bright.